Welcome to the cheating channel. It was 9 o'clock in the evening when Bill finally made up his mind and went upstairs to the bedroom. Anna, his magnificent 26-year-old wife, was getting ready to go somewhere with her friends. He wasn't particularly happy when she went out with these women last Friday, but he couldn't and didn't want to accept it as part of a new weekly routine. She saw the expression on his face and sighed. "You're not going to sulk about this, are you?" He nodded toward the tiny dress laid out on the bed and the sensual sky-blue lingerie she was wearing. She looked strikingly alluring in them. "I haven't seen these before," he said. She looked a bit embarrassed. "Well, yes. I bought them just this week." He pondered for a moment, then went to the bathroom, returning with her lingerie from the laundry basket. "So, is this normal for a husband?" he asked, pointing to a very plain, unremarkable set of bra and panties he was holding. "But you happily buy this?" He gestured toward the tiny sky-blue bra and lacy thong, barely concealing her charms. "For some men you've never even met before." He gazed at her intently. He paused meaningfully. "Unless this is just another nighttime stroll with the girls on the prowl. Maybe you really have arranged to meet someone there, like on a date." She looked at him incredulously. "No," she exclaimed. "There's no one else. How could you even think that?" "So," he said, ignoring her question and choosing his words carefully, "when you're out with your friends, you never dance with other men. Embrace them, kiss them, or allow them to get close to you." "How dare you even suggest that?" she snapped, now angry. "I dare to suggest it because I know more about your friends than you probably realize," he replied. "One single, two are divorced, and then there's you to complete the set. Do you really expect me to believe that, when they're seeking casual encounters, they wouldn't try to bring you down to their level? How dare you judge them?" she shouted. "I'm not judging them," he responded calmly. "They're free to make their own choices, as are you." She looked at him suspiciously. "So, you're telling me not to go? How can you call that a choice? I didn't tell you not to go out. I simply made it clear that I consider it inappropriate behavior for a married woman, and that your girlfriends are getting you into situations that will inevitably end badly for our marriage." "Are you seriously suggesting that my outings with girlfriends could threaten our marriage?" she scoffed. "Don't be so damn insecure. I always come home to you. Why are you so worried?" "I'm worried because you're the most beautiful woman I know, and you go to clubs with single girls whom I don't trust. Add to that excited men and alcohol, and it's a surefire way to trouble," he continued, raising his hand to prevent her interruption. "Our marriage is already at risk because you think this," he gestured toward her near-nakedness, "is something your husband should just accept without question. Hey, now it's too late. I promised to meet them at 10, and you're trying to make me late," she said, continuing to apply her makeup. He decided to make one last attempt. "You also promised to respect your husband," he remarked pointedly. "It seems you're comfortable enough ignoring that promise. Or are the feelings of your friends more important to you than mine? What the hell is wrong with you? Don't you trust me?" she snapped. "I'm just going out for drinks with the girls, that's it. Now, for heaven's sake, leave me alone." He sighed deeply. "It's just that I want to trust you, but I refuse to sit at home every Friday night wondering if you'll take another step, or end up accidentally flirting with some guy." "I would never do that," she protested that he interrupted her again. "Gail boasted about her exploits on social media last week. She's one of your friends, and that's precisely what she did. How much time needs to pass before you start to believe everything's fine? If I never find out?" She just stared at him, at a loss for words. Then he continued, now more resolute. "If you want to go dancing, invite me along. If you just want to rub elbows with strangers, then be honest and we can end this right now." "You're just being insulting," she lashed out. "No, I'm being honest. I don't believe you're just a fan of dirty dancing and kisses, looking for illicit affection or worse, a quick fling. I'm willing to believe you haven't cheated with anyone. But that's the choice I'm offering you. Leave or stay, it's up to you. But remember, I have a choice too. If you leave, you can party as much as you want. I won't be here when you come back." So there it was. He had given her every opportunity to understand his feelings, to hear his desire to mend their marriage. Now she had a choice, him or them. "You're joking? Damn it," she exclaimed, furious as he had never seen her in their 4 years together. "No," he said quietly. If you want to dress like your friends and go out drinking and dancing with them every Friday night, that's fine. I'm just telling you that the prospect of me sitting at home, waiting for you to come back, is not how I envision my future. For now, he said, heading toward the door, I have things to attend to. I'll be downstairs when you've made your decision. She sat in front of the mirror, pondering. She hadn't had sex, but not quite. Last week, she had felt a strong temptation and flirted with a guy, but that was all. And she liked how men looked at her on the dance floor. It made her feel more desirable. Bill always complimented her on how she looked, but he had to. He was her husband. The guys in the club, they wanted her. They desired her. Bill sat at his laptop, filling out an online form. It was 10:10 when she came downstairs. He looked up. Was she staying or leaving? She wore high-heeled shoes, showcasing her long, slender legs, disappearing into a short, tight blue dress. He said nothing. Was she planning to accept his offer to invite her to dance? Or was she intending to go dancing with her promiscuous friends? She still looked indecisive. Then she spoke. I'm leaving. We can talk tomorrow. He slowly shook his head and turned back to his computer, silently ignoring her. She stood there for a moment, unsure if he was bluffing. He didn't even hear the front door close. As she left that, he finished filling out the form, attached the link to the email, and clicked send. He went upstairs and threw some clothes into a couple of suitcases. On Monday, he would tell his boss that he accepted the job offer in Dubai. He called a taxi and, while waiting, sent a message to his wife's family group. Hello, everyone. I'm sorry you have to find out like this, but Anna made it very clear to me that she needs more excitement and variety in her life than I can provide. I sent her the link to our divorce statement via email. It has been an honor for me to be part of your family, but I hope you understand why I have decided, from this moment onwards, to no longer maintain contact with all of you. He had to do something else. So he approached the printer, took a sheet of paper from the output tray, and wrote something down. He affixed it over their wedding photograph above the fireplace. Then, he turned off his phone and went out onto the street to wait for his taxi. Anna had just sat down at a table in the club and was chatting with Gail when her phone rang. If this is Bill begging me to come home, she said irritably. But it wasn't. It was her older sister, Karen. Where the hell are you disappearing to? Karen yelled. I'm at the club with my friends, Anna said defensively. So, does Bill know? Karen asked. Yeah. Well, he knows I'm hanging out with friends. So what's the matter? And was he happy about it? Karen seemed annoyed, but on the other hand, she always had a soft spot for Bill. No, he wasn't pleased, but I told him we'd talk about it tomorrow. Well, good luck with that, you fool. He dumped you. If you don't believe it, check your email. Gail watched in astonishment as Anna frantically tried to open her email app on her phone. Even in the dim lighting of the nightclub, she could see her friend visibly pale. Anna noticed the message sent to her family. It must have been the reason for Karen's call. Then her phone rang again. Thank God. It's Bill, she thought. But no, it was her father. What did you say to Bill? Her father demanded. This man treated you like a queen, and you wanted more. No, Dad, it's not like that. I just felt trapped. I needed just one night a week, to be myself. You're in a damn nightclub. Your husband just dumped you, and you're gonna damn nightclubs, he asked incredulously. Her father was clearly furious. He had never cursed like this in front of his family before. What could she say? She was in the club, it was obvious from the background noise. No, Dad. He must have decided something after I left. Dad? Dad? He hung up. Anna grabbed her purse and phone and hurried to the exit, completely ignoring Gail and not noticing her two other friends as she passed them. On the street, she found a taxi and was home within 15 minutes. On the way, she tried to call her husband, but his phone went straight to voicemail. The house was quiet and deserted. She kicked off her shoes and rushed upstairs. Most of his clothes and shaving kit were gone. She went downstairs, his phone, laptop, wallet, all gone as well. Back upstairs, she found that his passport was also missing. He had warned her, no ambiguity, no room for misinterpretation. If she left that night, she would return home to an empty house. She knew he hated lies. In the past, He had been betrayed by a girl and he placed honesty above all else. He did exactly as he said. Anna descended the stairs in complete bewilderment. An hour ago she was married, now they were separated. Less than a year later, they would be divorced, all because she went dancing. Then she saw the photograph above the fireplace. Something was off. When she saw what he had done, she felt like she was going to be sick. It was a picture from someone's social media profile. It showed a young man on one knee proposing to his girlfriend. But there, in the background, was Anna kissing some guy while he fondled her breasts, and in big black letters at the bottom, Bill had written, "Liar. Story 2, stay alert." That's what our high school football coach used to tell us at every practice. I played defense, and he taught me a double skill, anticipating and keeping a close eye on my opponent. Knowing what to expect was the key to a successful defense. I wasn't that great, but I still managed to earn a full scholarship to an NCAA Division III college, where I majored in business. During my junior year, I was paired with Lucille for a project, a slightly plump, red-haired girl with a sociable personality. As they say, one thing led to another, passions flared, and after graduation we got married that summer. Our junior year project was good enough to land us both internships at one of the city's major companies, she in the sales department and I in accounting. For the astute reader, that's all you need to understand the strengths of our personalities. We love our girls, and after the third one we gave up trying for a boy. A little over a year ago, the last of them left the nest, and after 24 years of breakfasts and dinners together, the house became eerily quiet. After a week of such silence, I decided we needed to do something. So I planned a getaway for Lucille and me to the Smoky Mountains, near Gatlinburg. We both enjoy country music, so I figured we might catch a performance by an artist on their way to fame or away from it. The many leaf-covered mountain trails would give us a chance to put our hiking boots to good use. A cozy cabin with a king-size bed, I hoped, would complete our reconnection. It worked. We had a wonderful time, laughing, smiling, dancing, and holding each other. We reminisced about the missteps and bright moments of those years, and we were too busy preparing for the next milestone to stop and smell the roses in our lives. The cabin had a hot tub on the porch, which we thoroughly enjoyed, not to mention how often we used it. About a month after we returned, breakfasts and dinners reached a new level. Well, friendly is probably the best word to describe it. Our love life remained on its renewed level, and I made it a habit to take Lucille on pleasant outings every 2 or 3 weekends. Life as empty nesters was wonderful until the annual company Christmas party. Lucille, working in sales, seems to know everyone, while I, working in accounting, know very few people, and I'm not in any hurry to change that. Being comfortable in my own skin, I saw no reason to chat about trivial things like other people's kids, their school grades, and so on. If the conversation turned to incompetent NBA referees or how mega college sports programs exploit student athletes, I'd gladly join in and add a few drops of sarcasm. At corporate events, we typically went our separate ways and later shared stories, which often transitioned into foreplay in the real game afterward. However, something felt off this year. Due to layoffs, the shift to remote work, and a variety of other reasons, my usual crowd had thinned out. I wandered around, glancing at what was going on, secretly wondering which group Lucille was hanging out with. I couldn't find her. I cornered Abby, one of her co-workers. "Have you seen Lucille?" She glanced down and away. No. She was here just a minute ago with Brent and Kevin. Brent Masters is her boss, and Kevin is another co-worker. Abby's unusual behavior made the hair on the back of my neck stand up. Then, the 3 of them walked in from outside, laughing, fully dressed, and holding drinks in their hands. I tried to convince myself not to jump to conclusions. I caught her eye from across the room. She brightened and headed toward me. "Hey, Duncan," decided to return to the real world. This was followed by a kiss on the cheek. Not exactly the kind of behavior you'd expect from someone hiding something, actually. Yes, I wanted to see how my other half enjoys herself. Taking me by the hand, she led us to a group of sales and support staff telling jokes. Charming. However, after the party, I began to notice a subtle shift in our relationship. It started with the erosion of what I considered the anchor of our connection, breakfast and dinner. One morning, she skipped breakfast to make it to an early meeting at the office. The following week it was dinner again because of some meeting. Our sex life also began to lose its spark. Looking back, I can say this was the thin end of the wedge. By spring, Lucille started disappearing without explanation, or at the very least spending a lot of time away from home. Reflecting now, I realize how I missed the signs because it all began so subtly and gradually escalated. In April, she brought home a special quarterly bonus, which made it seem almost worth it. Everything fell into place during the planning for Memorial Day weekend. Over dinner, one of the increasingly frequent silent ones, Lucille suddenly spoke. "Duncan, we need to talk." "Yes." "Next week, after Memorial Day, the company is hosting a golf tournament for our top independent representatives in Myrtle Beach. I'll be gone from Tuesday until the following Sunday." "Sounds exciting. And where are we staying?" "You're not coming. It's an event exclusively for salespeople, and since you work in accounting, you don't qualify. I can pay for myself." "You're not planning to spend the entire time working with the representatives nonstop, are you?" "Duncan, you'd be the only spouse there and a distraction. Besides golf, the company has planned several excursions with the representatives, and honestly, it would feel awkward to be the only one with a spouse along. Don't take it personally, but it would look like my overbearing husband doesn't trust his wife and has to keep an eye on her." "Overbearing husband? Huh? I'm not saying that's what you are, but that's how it would look. Is that what you want?" "Lucille, what about our plans to take the girls to Keys?" "Oh damn, you're right. I completely forgot about that." "Well, and?" She shook her head. "I'm really sorry. This is a corporate event, and even if I had remembered, I'd still have to go." "Can't we reschedule?" "The girls have already made their plans for the summer. Why don't you reschedule for Brent? It wouldn't be the first time you've gone out of your way for him, or slept with him." She leaned back, her mouth dropping open like a pufferfish stranded on land. "What the hell are you talking about?" "I'm talking about how, after the Christmas party, you and Brent started having lunch together several times a week, at first with others but then alone. About how your first meeting at that Pleasant Night motel happened the day before Valentine's Day. Since then, you've been having weekly sex marathons at various motels, planning to leave me and Sheila, his wife, after Memorial Day under the excuse of these golf tournaments." Fear, awe, guilt, and surprise flickered across Lucille's face. "Where are you getting these crazy ideas? You either forgot or didn't know that Brent is a serial womanizer. That means he's already been involved with several other women in your department. You're just the latest in the lineup. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, and to deal with you, he tossed Brenda Thomas aside. Bad move. She's never liked you because you're better than her, and you flaunt it. Everyone knows you're the most beautiful woman in the sales department, but Brent became a killer when he dumped her right before Valentine's Day to climb all over you. She had to spend that romantic holiday alone, rejected and bitter. Still burning with rage over Brent's cold-blooded betrayal, Brenda sought me out during the company's Valentine's Day lunch and spilled everything. You were so caught up with your new boyfriend that you didn't even notice. She brought me up to speed on his tactics, his favorite restaurants, the days he can slip away without raising his wife's suspicions, and, oh, his plans for your little excursion. She's in sales too, and she mentioned that after Memorial Day, there won't be any meetings with company representatives. I paused. You did know that your pal Brent is married, didn't you? To Madison, who used to compete in beauty pageants. And he has 3 kids, all still in middle and high school. The color drained from Lucille's face. This conversation, I guessed, wasn't going the way she had expected. Tough luck. She slowly shook her head that I continued, so you didn't know he dumped Brenda. Or that he's married and has school-age kids. In a quiet voice, she replied, neither. I didn't know either. Oh, so you arrogantly assumed he was a happy bachelor, and that you were so irresistibly sexy, he couldn't keep his hands off you. For some inexplicable reason, this charming man just happened to be without a woman and couldn't wait to jump into bed with you. I thought you were smarter than that, Lucille. Clearly, you have no decency or morality, but imagine my surprise when I discovered you don't even have any brains. I stood up, all right. What do you mean, all right? Throughout our marriage, I've always given you what you wanted. We didn't need such a big house, but you wanted it, so we bought it. The interior. Exactly what you wanted. Your car, your clothes, our vacations. Think about it. Every time we had a disagreement, I gave in to your wishes. So fine. You want a divorce. I'll file for divorce tomorrow. Lucille couldn't take it. She jumped up, knocking her chair back, and screamed in my face. Never. I won't give you a divorce. My affair with Brent is… blah blah blah. I interrupted. It's just sex, it doesn't mean anything, and you're the only one I love. One cliché about cheating after another. Save your breath. You don't have a choice. When I saw you giving yourself to your new boyfriend… He's not my boyfriend, she shouted. When you let your boyfriend have you, it was over. I filed the papers and got everything ready. Lisa, our eldest, saw me leaving the lawyer's office and cornered me. She knew about you and Brent. I didn't ask how, but she convinced me you weren't that stupid. That you'd end it with him as soon as you came to your senses. So, since I still love you, I listened to her and told the lawyer to hold off, to wait for you to figure it out one way or another. The papers are ready and waiting for the moment you wake up. Instead, you've decided to destroy 2 marriages, hurt his 3 kids who are still in school, and devastate our 3 daughters just to get yourself another man. In other words, you pulled the trigger. Lisa knows. Lucille looked defeated and shaken. They all know. Lisa told them. They're waiting for me to tell them what you want one way or another. So, when are you and Brent leaving? I'm not sure I want to go. Of course you do. Start packing. While we're talking, Brent's wife is having the same conversation with him. She's kicking him out today, so he'll have nowhere to go. You've already got a non-refundable apartment in Myrtle Beach, so you can extend your stay there and enjoy it while figuring out what to do with the rest of your life. Lucille burst into tears. Don't our 24 years together mean anything to you? Obviously, they mean more to me than they do to you, adulteress. Remember, you threw them away at the Christmas party. Instead of coming to your senses, you became Brent's mistress, until he inevitably moves on to the next one. At least I have enough respect and decency to divorce you before I start looking for someone worthy. Women like that still exist, and I believe I deserve one. What about me? You don't meet the criteria. Thank you for listening until the end. See you in the next episode of Cheating Secrets.